A Republican that was forced out of Congress for supporting gun control takes a parting blow on his way out the door. Let's go ahead and talk about it. What is up, Wolverines, and welcome back to my little piece of paradise known as John Crump News. I will be your host for today, John Crump. I'm an investigative journalist that keeps an eye on the 2A space. And since it's Saturday, you need to do me a big favor. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will keep on making videos. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about HR 8882, which would require licenses to purchase so-called assault weapons. This news comes from Dave Workman over at MLN News. If you do not know, MLN News is a great website that has all your 2A news needs. And Dave Workman is one of the main writers over there. And he has put in years and years and years of reporting on Second Amendment issues. And this story deals with Chris Jacobs. Chris Jacobs was one of the Republicans that voted for a lot of gun control in the past, including the recently passed bills that gave funding for red flag laws. Chris Jacobs has a C- from the National Shooting Sports Foundation during their congressional report card for the 2022 year. I mean, he's one of only two Republicans to vote for H.R. 1808, the other one being Brian Fitzpatrick, who is running for re-election in Pennsylvania this year. Brian Fitzpatrick is so anti-gun. He is more anti-gun than his Democrat opponent. Brian Fitzpatrick wants to ban all semi-automatic rifles and also have universal background checks. Luckily, there is a Libertarian candidate that is running against both Brian Fitzpatrick and his Democratic opponent. So we all have to vote for that Libertarian candidate to knock Brian Fitzpatrick out of the election. But let's get back to failed New York Rhino Chris Jacobs, who wanted to run for re-election but knew he would never win since he backed gun control, so he had to drop out. Jacobs' scheme would require anyone that wanted to buy a so-called scary assault weapon to get a license, which means that the person would have to pass an FBI background check, take a mandatory safety course, submit fingerprints, and proof of identity. And this license would have to be renewed every 5 years. Now, if you already own a so-called assault weapon, you would be A-okay and you would be grandfathered with those assault weapons. But if you wanted to buy an assault weapon, you would have to get a license to purchase any additional rifles or so-called assault weapons. This is a direct attack on the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is not a right that can be taken away by the government. The Constitution only acknowledges that we have the right to bear arms, and that is from the Creator. Also in Heller, the Supreme Court said guns that are in common use are protected by the Second Amendment. Now, when they talk about assault weapons, what they are talking about are AR-15s and AK-47 pattern rifles. Now, let's just talk about the AR-15. The AR-15 is the most commonly used rifle in the country. There is an estimated 50 million AR-15s in the country, and when you break that down to a population of 350 million, that means they are definitely in common use, and anyone that argues to the contrary is being intellectually dishonest. But the other side is always intellectually dishonest. There is also the little case known as Bruin that also might weigh into this. Bruin said that you have to use the plain text of the Second Amendment and the historical text of the Second Amendment, and you cannot use intermediate scrutiny, such as like public safety or anything like that. And There is nothing in the text of the Constitution or the history of the Second Amendment that says the government is allowed to ban commonly used rifles. So this bill is fraught with constitutional hurdles, but I don't think we really have to worry about it. I do not think that this has a chance of hell of passing. I doubt it will even get out of the House. And if it does get out of the House, there is about a 0.5% chance of it passing the Senate since we still have the filibuster. Even if we don't have the filibuster, I don't think people like Joe Manchin would vote for it. So I think we are safe, and I think this is just Chris Jacobs taking a final shot at the voting block that prevented him from even attempting to run again, which shows the power that we have as gun owners to control Congress. We need to keep the pressure on. We need to support groups like GOA that is on the Hill every day pushing these congressional members to do what is in our best interest. The other special interest groups on the other side will do the same thing. And yes, we are a special interest group. I'm not talking about GOA, I'm talking about gun owners as a whole. And our special interest is liberty and freedom. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Have a happy weekend. Remember, I love you. Stay ever vigilant, stay ever free, keep in the fight. I am out of here. Check out the Discord. The Discord is a lot of fun. It is linked down below. Buy some popcorn for some scouts or donate some money, which is also linked down below, and it will help create men out of boys. All right, guys. Wolverine's motherfucker.